To skip the basic phase of training and go on to the advanced phase of training. Look to the left, if you will, and this is a big engine, 600 horsepower, Pratt & Whitney R1340. Smoke is on. Let's watch Bill Leff from the city that taught the world to fly as he accelerates through 140 miles per hour, and up goes the nose, and watch him rolling. Just a second here, I'm going to take a second to slide over to our discrete frequency and make sure I got him up, and we're going to talk to him live. And hello, Bill Leff. He's got two hands on the stick.
What a beautiful day it is here in Pensacola.
Oh, no doubt about that, as the barrel roll is executed with great skill and perfection. How are you, dude?
I am having a great time. I got the best seat in the house.
Yeah, you do. I get the best seat in the house, but when you get to fly aerobatics in a 70-year-old airplane, it doesn't get much better than what you've got.
Right. Hey, I'm going to do a little slow roll for you here, Rob.
All right, very good. Now, this is a challenging maneuver. This airplane weighs about 5,500 pounds. And that's not a lot it's a lot of weight for the power, but watch him as he does this super slow roll. The sound of the propeller tips going supersonic at about 2,200 RPM.
Okay, Rob, after this we're going to do a Cuban 8 followed by a loop and a horizontal 8.
All right, now you're going to modify this Cuban 8 just a little, aren't you?
I'm going to do a standard Cuban 8, do a roll on the downline, but the standard Cuban 8, tell them the whole story about that.
I will do that, and Fidel Castro has nothing to do with the story, I'll tell you that. All right, watch him. He's going to trace a figure 8 in the sky with the smoke. Here's what happened back in 1936 at the Miami Air Races. During an aerobatic performance by Len Povey, a guy who was well known in the aviation industry back in the golden era of aviation, he was going too fast and high enough at the top of the loop to successfully complete it. So rather than make a smoking hole in the ground, Len Povey did 5/8 of a loop, rolled the airplane upright, and did the same thing in the opposite direction. Let's watch Bill Leff now. He'll come down the 45 and watch the airplane roll upright. There's a half roll. Now he'll come down to the right-hand side and he'll do the same thing in the opposite direction. Trace the figure 8 lying on its side in the sky. Tough to see a little bit because of the clouds, but watch Bill as he goes up the other way. Now, nobody had ever seen the maneuver. When he landed, they asked him, Len Povey, what was that maneuver? And since he had also been training Batista's Cuban Air Force pilots to fly aerobatics, he replied with 2 words in Spanish, Ocho Cubano, and the name stuck for 80 years. That's the Cuban 8. What's next, Bill? All righty. Now, just for our own ideas, what kind of speed will you use to enter it, and how many G's will you experience in the loop?
Okay, we'll be doing about 200 miles an hour at the bottom of the loop, be down to about 80 at the top, and about 4 G's.
All right. Now, we all stand here on Earth experiencing 1 G, 1 time the force of gravity. 200-pound guy, 200 pounds. At 2 G's, a 200-pound guy is going to weigh 400 pounds. At 4 G's, a 200-pound guy is going to weigh 800 pounds. At 200 miles an hour, let's watch for the nose to come up. over the top slows down to about 80 miles an hour, just about 20 miles an hour above the stall speed of this airplane, where it won't fly anymore. Pulling another 4 Gs right there, and he's out. That is the bar. That was perfect. Now watch the. Now he's flying a horizontally.
That's a Cuban 8 on flatbread.
A Cuban 8 on flatbread? That's the first time I heard that one, dude. I'll have to remember that for next season. A Cuban 8 on flatbread.
Okay, Rob, we're going to do a little hocus pocus with the landing gear in this next one.
Oh, okay. You gonna put the gear down?
Tell me.
All right, we'll check it out. Now, does this airplane have that super fast landing gear on it?
No, it does not.
So this is pretty much stock hydraulics, right?
Very.
All right. Let's watch Bill. He's gonna mess with the landing gear, get aerodynamically dirty. All right. Oh, I see the gear. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, wait a minute. The gear went up. Well, now it's down.
I extended it.
Okay, got it. You extended the gear. I'll buy that. What's next?
Dirty roll for the folks.
Okay, this one's a challenge. This requires a pretty significant attention to your airspeed all the way through, right?
Yes, sir. All bottom of the wings opened up with a big hole where the landing gear went.
Yep. Not only does the landing gear cause a lot of drag, but the big holes where the wheels were causes a lot of turbulence and a lot more drag. So the dirty roll takes a lot of skill. Means high angle of attack. The angle of attack is a term that
how slow we can get this thing going.
Okay, refers to the number of degrees in this case that he'll pull the nose up above the horizon. Bill Leff is from Dayton, Ohio, and we'll be talking to him here a little bit as he slows down. There's 90 miles an hour. 80?
75. 70, that's about minimum controllable airspeed for this.
MCA, minimum controllable airspeed. Bill, you're having a good time. How many years have you been flying air shows?
This next coming season is going to be 41 years.
Wow, finishing your 40th season. Over 1,000 performances in your Texans. Rest.
Yes, sir. Probably many more. This is an Air Force Texan. This is a G model.
Got it.
This one actually served in Spain for a while.
Served with the Spanish Air Force. How about that? Victory roll.
Okay, next we're going to do a 4-point roll, make a couple camera passes, followed up by a salute to the troops with a victory roll.
Got it. The 4-point hesitation roll. He'll stop the airplane every 90 degrees of rotation. We'll see some other folks do that as well.
That'll be a 4-point roll.
Got it. We're ready for you. Now with all these maneuvers, watch for the nose to come up first. Nose goes up, and he'll stop it at knife edge, and another 90 degrees to inverted, another 90 degrees to right knife edge, and the final 90 degrees to upright.
Okay, get the cameras out.
We'll do that, and we'll let the sound of your 980, I should say your 1340, make all sorts of noise for us. You're going to do a high power setting so we'll get a good growl?
I'll put the top up with full brake windows.
Full brake windows, okay. Here's Bill Leff. Awesome. Nearly 30 Allied nations used the Texan built by North American Aviation. The Navy gave it the designation. The Army Air Force, the AT-6, the Royal Canadian Air Force, and the Royal Air Force called it the Harvard. All right, I think he's going to give those folks in the tower a nice view.
And last round, this is a nice salute to all the folks in the armed services, the Navy, the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the Reserve, and the National Guard, which I proudly serve as a helicopter crew chief.
Very good, sir. We're ready for it. Here comes the victory roll.
All the first responders.
On duty 24/7, 365 days a year, keeping us safe and defending our freedom.
Our heroes. All of them.
No matter what designation the airplane has.
See you later.
Thank you, Bill Leff. Let's give a nice round of applause to Bill Leff in the North American Texan. And no matter what the designation, it was known as the Pilot Maker. It was the last airplane a cadet would see before earning his wings and moving on to the high-performance fighters of the day, or the cargo craft, or the bombers. The Texan taught tens of thousands of Allied pilots to fly. Now, as we think about the production numbers of this airplane, upwards of, depending on whose history book you read, 22,000. There are few other airplanes that have been built in that kind of numbers since World War II. There were 12,000 some Corsairs, over almost 13,000 B-17 bombers, over 15,000 or so P-51 Mustangs, B-29 Super Fortresses, just shy of 4,000 of those. But there is another type of airplane that has more of its type flying